And so the trial shall continue. Well, that summation examination has concluded with a rather large shift in opinion. The ayes 2, the noes 4. So the noes have it, not guilty, they say. Which means we no longer have a consensus among the members of the jury. The trial will continue.
Objection!
Could it seem churlish of me to drink from a hallowed chalice moments after raising an objection, only to crush it in disgust? Pray forgive the discourtesy. Lord Von Zeeks? It seems I must retract my earlier remark. What do you mean? I mistakenly credited these jurors with intelligence by describing them as insightful. Yet we have just witnessed them falling for a cheap trick performed by an Eastern entertainer. Whatever do you mean? I haven't tricked anyone. Everything I've said is the truth. Indeed. Star Wars juror number 5 was undoubtedly repairing the road, as he claims. I believe you said it was a good 2 yards of the pavement which you have excavated, sir? That's right, took the whole day and they paid me a measly tuppence for it. Now, my learned Nipponese friend, tell me, do you have any notion of the distance that 2 yards represents? Well, if I'm honest, I don't have a clue, no. 2 yards is a little less than 2 meters. Less than 2 meters? That's not much at all. In other words, a distance readily vaulted by anyone of moderate vigor. Would you not agree, my stalwart friend? Me? I can't say you're wrong, no. What? And did you perchance erect a sign to prevent pedestrians from passing the site of your works? I wouldn't dream of it. What a waste of time. Our coaches would have had a hope of passing anyway, and we just turn any gentlefolk back where they came. Kids just drive right over where I saw the time. The accused is no gentleman as far as I can see. I have little doubt, however, that he could spring over a 2-yard trench in his meanderings around town. Ah! Is that true? Is it? The incontrovertible truth is that the books just purchased by the accused were found at the scene. There can be no doubt that on his way back to his lodgings, Mr. Natsume walked down Briar Road. Gosh, in a single sentence. And old man. Old man? You can talk? You say that around 5 o'clock on the day in question, you slipped and fell on Calabash Road. Pray, was there a suspicious-looking Nipponese behind you at the time? Oh, I can't say I remember. You don't remember? How about a wager, my learned friend? You say it was this old man that the accused saw? But I would lay 1,000 to 1 against you being able to prove it. Ah! My case! It's been quashed! Order! Lord von Zieks, explain yourself. I think he explained himself just fine, Your Honor. My lord? If you had such a trenchant argument up your sleeve, why in the world did you not proffer it during the summation examination? I wanted to give this young foreign student the sightseeing experience he no doubt came for. I wanted him to see for himself how the opinion of the jury is so readily swayed. But my hospitality has its limits, and they have been reached, I feel. At least once more. So, my learned friend, today's sightseeing tour of London is now over. What are you talking about? My lord! The prosecution requests permission to call its next witnesses to the stand. Granted. Bailiff, bring forth the witnesses. Its next witnesses. Mr. Nuttleholder, do you not remember? We've been told on several occasions that there were eyewitnesses to the incident. Yes, I remember. One of them being a Scotland Yard policeman, no less. I'm afraid it's likely to be the prosecution's next witness. Alright, no matter who Von Zieks brings to the stand as his witnesses, and no matter what they say, I believe in Soseki-san. I know he's innocent. I'll keep believing to the very end, until this battle is over. Witnesses, please state your names and occupations for the court. Constable Rolly Beats, nothing to report on the streets, sir.
And I'm Mrs. B. Patricia's my name. I'm proud to say I'm this young town hero's wife.
What's the story here?
Well, in truth, we've not been married long. In fact, we're celebrating our first anniversary only the other day.
No, it was your husband I was asking about. He seems tired. Hardly surprising. Whilst being an honourable occupation, patrolling the beats is the most demanding work in the world. I'm sure I've heard that before, actually. Indeed, apart from rare days off, our gallant officers trudge some 20 miles a day, you know. They patrol boarding houses and pubs, collect taxes, survey the streets, check that meters are reading true. And they're responsible for keeping the streets clean and lighting and extinguishing our street lights. There are a number of items on their list that don't sound much like policing duties at all. I wouldn't just be falling asleep on my feet, I'd have collapsed long ago. But it goes without saying that a policeman's primary duty is the apprehension of criminals. Even when he's off duty, a constable is expected to investigate and can resolve any crimes on his beat. For the London Bobby is a man of honor. And a man of slumber. On the day in question, this man and his wife were walking down Briar Road in the opposite direction. They witnessed the incident as it occurred. Is that not correct, Mr. and Mrs. Beat?
That's right, sir. Isn't it Rolly?
Constable Rolly Beat, sir! Nothing to report on the street, sir! What a great witness he's going to be! Very good. I'd like to hear your formal testimonies now, please. You will tell the court exactly what you saw on the afternoon of the incident. Yes, sir! Poor thing.
It was our wedding anniversary, and Rolly was taking me out for a meal. There was no time to change after work. Anyway, two silhouettes appeared out on the fog of the pavement in front of us. All of a sudden, one of them just collapsed on the floor, and the other scattered something before running off. We ran straight over, of course, and then went for help in a neighboring police box. It was definitely the Japanese man at the dock. Roland and I both saw him clear as day.
Well, this is extremely compelling testimony, I must say. Uh-huh. Oh dear, this policeman and his wife are claiming to have positively identified Mr. Nutsmere at the scene. If their testimony is true, the alternative course of events that you established in the summation examination will be quashed. I feel like that's already been quashed, but alright. Still got a chance. It's death now, in fact. Because that alternative was never viable in the first place. What an unfortunate bechancing. And on your wedding anniversary too.
Oh, I know! But I still managed to go out for the evening with my man. I thank the Lord for that.
Gosh, the life of a London Bobby sounds very hard indeed. If they have a life, indeed. However, this cross-examination will be over in minutes. You may well have time to rest this afternoon. What do you mean by that? My learned friend, the witnesses saw the face of the man fleeing the scene. They are testifying under oath that it was no doubt the accused, Mr. Soseki Natsume. And one of these witnesses is a policeman, no less. So you appreciate the gravity of the situation, I'm sure. Except that the man's so tired, his wife has to do all the talking. Enough preamble! Counsel for the defense, commence the cross-examination, please! Yes, my lord! Okie dokie. Woo! It's gotta be something, right? Oh, that's nice. Okay, hold on, let me reread this. Silhouettes! You didn't see them clearly? I'm assuming that's the books. I mean, I'm assuming it's because your husband over there was off duty at the time, by some miracle. Alright, I think there's a lot we can press here, so that's what I'm going to do. Hold it! No time to change after work, you say? Are you also a member of the police, Mrs. Beat?
Oh no, sadly not. It's a job for strapping young men only. Women, children, and the elderly can't even apply.
Well, I think you can probably see why children and the elderly can't do the job, can't you?
I think Rolly looks ever so handsome in his uniform. It suits him down to the ground, doesn't it, darling?
Chokes him to death. I mean, sorry. Just finished my beer. Pat and I were heading back to the station. I was actually planning on getting changed there.
Is he talking in his sleep?
This is creepy.
Oh no, Rolly. I much prefer you in uniform. Sometimes I don't recognize you when I see you in plain clothes.
Do you ever see him in plain clothes with how frequently he works? That doesn't seem healthy. Kindly adhere to the point. You were going for a meal after you had finished your beat for the day, correct? That's right, sir, yes. I was fit to drop, to be honest, after spending the whole day on my feet. But policing is my life, sir. As long as I'm the proud owner of this, I'll serve my city and my queen to the end. What's this now? My warrant card, sir! Proof that I'm a London copper! It has the noble founding principles of the force written on it as a reminder to all us policemen of a swore to do the law. To patrol the streets of London and uphold the peace of the common man. Sir! And for such a noble cause, I cover 20 miles every single day without fail and without grumble. Because I know that the plodding of my boots is all Londoners need to hear to feel safe and secure. So, fighting crime doesn't appear to come into it then. But sir, just on that particular day I was looking forward to celebrating my wedding anniversary, sir. Mrs. B puts up with a lot being married to a bobby like me. I want to show my dear wife how much I care. Oh, Pat.
Oh, Rolly! Oh, what a charming couple. The young love is such a joy to behold.
A little over the top, perhaps. Then, kindly describe what happened next.
Anyway, two silhouettes appeared out on the fog in the pavement in front of us.
Silhouettes? Nothing clearly defined. Two silhouettes?
That's right. They were coming towards us, walking up Briar Road in the opposite direction. It was a rather plump figure, followed by a scrawny, thin-looking man.
It does sound exactly like the victim as pictured in this print, and like Mr. Nutsmith. Yes, unfortunately it does. And you're certain that at that time there was nobody else nearby?
Oh yes, quite certain. It was dark, but there are streetlights on Briar Road, you see. There was nobody else around at all. Isn't that right, my darling?
What? Yes, that's right, of course. There was a light fog on the ground as well. The Briar Road is dead straight, and you can see a really long way down the pavement. And then there's a street light as well. I didn't see any Before sleep takes a firm hold, your answer please, Mr. Beat. Are you quite sure of what you just said? Yes, sir! It's a copper who spends all day every day keeping watch on the streets. I swear to it, sir! I'm sure. As for my love for Patricia is true. Oh, Pat.
Oh, Rolly!
He's still maintaining there was no one else around other than the victim and the attacker. Well, if it is not Smith, it's starting to seem like that must be how it really happened. It's beginning to seem like there's nowhere to run. Well, that didn't stop Mr. Nutsmith, did it? You fled the scene all too convincingly. Thank you. I believe we have a reasonably clear idea of the situation just before the incident now. What happened in the crucial moments that followed? Please answer. Okay, to be fair, even if Nutsmith didn't run off, I felt like he would have been arrested anyway. It's just... Hold it! Scattered something? What do you mean by that?
Oh, well, I couldn't quite make out what it was at the time. But then when we got closer, we realized what it was. Didn't we, darling?
Well, yes, that's right. Some old books. I see, old books. Yes, sir, the culprit dropped a number of them, all where the victim lay on the pavement. Indeed, as clearly pictured in this photographic print.
That rotten Japanese man did what he did. Did that when he did the deed.
Let's not forget that it remains to be established that the defendant was indeed the attacker. But we saw him. It was the man in the dog without question, sir. What's that? The hunchback and the cat-like eyes, the taut mouth. The snub knows everything. Any more insults you want to throw in?
That's right. He looked down at that poor defenseless woman with those terrifying, intense eyes.
You think his eyes are terrifying? You know, stars in yours, love. Nothing wrong with her, but still. So, anyway,
and they suddenly threw his books on the pavement and ran away.
I see. This is tough. They seem as though they're telling the truth here. May I remind the court that this unambiguous testimony comes from a policeman and his wife. Well, they're only human, right? Now please, continue.
Yes, sir. We ran straight over, of course, and then went for help at a nearby police box.
Was it your husband who went to fetch for help?
No, I went. I may not be a police officer myself, but I am the proud wife of one after all. Isn't that right, my darling?
What? Yes, that's right. I asked Mrs. Beat to go. I was off duty by that point. Bobby's never truly off duty, of course, so I felt obliged to stay and guard the scene. Very laudable, Mr. Beat. Preserving the scene of a crime is a task of considerable importance. That's why I sent Patricia, you see. I told her where to find the right police box. Forgive my ignorance, but what exactly do you mean by the right police box? Depends on the crime's location, you see, as to who deals with it. Where the woman was stabbed wasn't actually on my beat. So I told Patricia the way to the police box for the beat the incident fell under so she could go report it.
I ran there as quickly as I could and asked for help from the body on duty. There's nothing more potent than a young couple in love working together, you know.
And thanks to your swift response, the case was quickly resolved. The actions of two model citizens. Quickly resolved, and yet this trial. Oh, hello.
Hey, please, you're making us blush, isn't he, darling?
Yes, sir. What Patricia said, sir. Let's move on, shall we?
It was definitely the Japanese man in the dog. Molly and I both saw him clear as day.
So we're getting nothing from this. But surely you would have been able to see his face by the light of the gas street lamps, wouldn't you?
We absolutely could. Us Londoners have exceptional eyesight, I'll have you know.
Right.
The light with the street lamps was wasn't enough. And my husband already told you that the fog was only the light, didn't he?
Yes, and what of the fog? We're famous for it across the globe, I believe. But it's an absolute menace to those of us who have to live with it, of course.
Oh, it is. It is. When it's thick, you can't even see the hand at the end of your arm.
Yes, alright, I take your point. Now, could you stop shaking your husband around?
Constant fog makes our eyes very sharp, you see. That's why we can tell you for sure and certain there was that little Japanese man we saw. Can't we, darling?
What? Yes, it was the accused. No mistake, sir. The mustache, the hunchback, the cat-like eyes, door mouth, those nose. Unmistakable, sir. As far as this couple's testimony is concerned, there can't be any question. It was Soseki-san they saw running away from the scene of the crime. Okay, do we seriously have nothing? Oh dear. So that's it, is it? That's the entire testimony? What do you think, Mr. Naruhodo? I hate to admit it, but on hearing the testimony, it really does seem as though Mr. and Mrs. Beat saw what they say they saw. Mr. Natsume running away from the scene on Boy Road that day. Yes, I feel the same. So if that's true, where does it leave us? The members of the jury are sure to call for a guilty verdict after this testimony. What do we do? Kazuma-sama were here. What are you trying to say? I think he would try to find a contradiction somewhere else within their testimony. What do you mean, somewhere else? The statement about seeing Mr. Natsume is unequivocal. Calling that into question won't help. But if you could identify some other parts of their testimony which appears to contradict the facts, you might be able to discredit them to make the jury doubt if the pair's memory of that day is accurate. Put simply, we must focus on finding a discrepancy in these statements somewhere. If If we don't, I'm afraid the trial might reach an early and unfavourable conclusion. Why do we always seem to be so up against it?
Mr. Lawyer, sir, can I ask you something?
Yes, of course. What is it?
Well, you keep asking us all these questions about everything we've told you, so... It seems like you don't believe our testimony. Is that right? Is it? Well, out with it!
No, it's not really that at all.
My husband's a policeman, remember? Now I know what I saw. I remember every last detail, everything. Like... Oh, I know. What about the books the man dropped? I could tell you the names of every single one I could. Every single one. You dare to question how reliable my testimony is?
That will do, Mrs. B.
No, not at all. A Japanese lawyer has no idea what I'm capable of. Even if I decide to forgive him for insulting us, don't think for a minute that really will.
I really didn't mean to cause offence. Please put your husband's fist down. Perhaps you would like the opportunity to supplement your testimony, Mrs. Beat. Might that appease you?
Oh, thank you, my lord. That will settle things nicely. Wouldn't it, darling?
This poor dude. Do tell us. Maybe we can bluff our way out of this as we always do. Yes, we know that there were books dropped at the scene of the crime, as you say. Those purchased by the accused at the nearby second-hand bookshop on the day in question.
After I'd been to the police box for help, I decided to have a good look over the area for good measure. I am a proud policeman's wife, after all. I did it for Rolly.
So what was your husband doing at the time?
Oh, he was lying face down in the snow, getting some well-deserved rest.
This guy needs some sleep. Why bring him to the witness stand? This poor dude.
He works ever so hard, you know. Ever so hard. Don't you, my darling?
Interesting way of guarding the scene of the crime. Well, Mrs. Beach, since have you regaled the court with tales of your powers of recollection, would you be so kind as to recount the titles of the books you observed at the scene?
I'd be happy to. Now, are you all listening? There was the picture of Monsieur somebody or other. And what's it, yearnings? Then there was a meal for someone. And the last one was definitely the thing you got me is something. You see?
Aha. Powers of recollection. Oh, I see there are one or two holes in your memory.
Oh, well, they were along those lines, I'm sure.
There were indeed books found at the scene with titles along those lines, as you put it.
Well, what did I tell you? So I think it's very mean the way you've been implying that my testimony can't be trusted. Don't you agree, darling?
Oh my god! Anyone who upsets my fish. Oh my god. I don't remember that. Oh wow. Terrifying indeed. We can agree on that front. She really is. I'm guessing it's the same thing, so I'm gonna just... Oh my god, I don't think I've ever seen that before. I'm guessing I never pressed that statement when I first did this, so... Wait, what did she say exactly? 4! Okay, I should... What? Oh my god. Okay, I should have picked it up from 4. Oh my god, I'm so glad I pressed on that though. I've never seen that before. Oh my god. Wow, this is just great. Oh wow. Alright, now that we're back from the speeding up. Okay, so she could tell us the name of the 4 books he dropped at the scene. Well, I'll have you know that he only purchased 3 books. The Picture of Monsieur Lecoq, A Meal for Gabriel, yeah, I can't pronounce it either, and Canterbury Yearnings. Whilst the titles you listed were along the lines, that 4th book does not exist here, so where did the 4th book come from? So, you're saying that there were 4 books?
That's right, I remember all of them. The Picture of Monsieur Somebody,
Yes.
What's It Yearnings,
Yes.
A Meal for Someone,
Yes.
and The Thing You Got Me Something.
Nope. So where did that come from? I'm sorry, Miss Beat. But there is a fundamental flaw in that statement of yours.
Oh no! What flaw?
Simply that, at the scene of the crime, there were only 3 books, not 4. Alright, let me double check the picture. Epic music, by the way. Aha! Aha!
What?
This is the receipt from the bookshop where the defendant bought his books.
Your books?
Yes, and it details Mr. Nutsmith's purchases that day. But as you can see, only 3 books are listed.
Only 3? No, that can't be! I remember seeing them! There were 4 books, I tell you! 4 dirty old books!
Oh really? Have a good look at this photographic print of the scene of the crime. As you can clearly see from this evidence as well, there are only 3 books.
But I just don't believe it! I saw them there, I swear it! I saw them!
No, madam, I'm afraid your powers of observation cannot be relied upon. That's my thing! Gah! So it cannot be denied that though you say it was the defendant you saw, you could very well be mistaken.
Oh no!
Objection!
It's plainly evident that it is your powers of deduction that cannot be relied upon, my learned Nipponese friend. What? What cannot be denied is that these two witnesses saw the accused running from the scene. A fact that you know very well you have no hope of disproving. So you've striven to avert attention from that by dint of some inconsequential discrepancies. Oh, he's on to us. Would that be fair? He sees right through me. Hey, what's this Santos ID? Your plan has somewhat recoiled against you. What are you talking about? It's quite simple. Let me explain with a toast. To the policeman's wife and her entirely accurate testimony in every respect.
Oh!
You see, the matter is not up for debate. At the scene of Briar Road, a total of 4 books were most definitely found. But what about the photographic print? It only shows 3. Quite right. Only 3 can be seen in that print. That print? You mean to say there's more? Oh, there goes another one. Allow me to present another one that shows the victim's hand. I don't believe it! It's the 4th book! As you will observe, the 4th book was hidden from view in the original print by the victim's torso. No! No! Order!
There, you see, look!
Oh, I'm looking.
It's just like I said, isn't it, darling?
Yes, sir! Patricia's always right, sir! Let us study the receipt for the books purchased by the accused on the day in question. Mrs. Beat, the titles once again, if you please.
Oh, of course! The picture of Monsieur somebody or other.
The picture of Monsieur Legault.
What's it, yearnings?
Canterbury Yearnings.
A meal for someone.
A meal for Gabriel, in fact. As the court has just heard, the witness remembers the book title, flawlessly, save for a few minor details. Mrs. Beat's power of recollection can only be described as exceptional.
Did you hear that, Roy? The gentleman paid me a compliment.
Yes, sir, flawless, sir. Patricia is flawless. But there are only 3 books on the receipt, and Mrs. B mentioned 4. There's nothing surprising about that. Clearly, the 4th book is that which is shown in this photographic print. I'm sorry, counsel, but does that not seem odd? Why should the 4th book be omitted from the receipt? It's not odd at all, my lord. As the photograph clearly shows, the 4th book was found in the victim's clutches. In other words, it belongs to the victim. So we assume the victim was holding her own book. I wonder what became of the 4th book. obviously it wasn't overlooked by the investigating officers at Scotland Yard, can it? Is it in the... No, it's not, okay. I have it here as evidence. You will submit that and the aforementioned photographic print to the record, please, counsel. My pleasure, my lord. Boop. And... boop. Alright. The prosecution rests. And so while as we investigate the new evidence. Doesn't this seem like an awfully familiar title? Let me see. It's a book entitled The Lion's Pride. I'm afraid I don't know any English literature at all. So it wouldn't be something I've heard. Wait a minute. The Lion's Pride. That's strange. I think I've heard of a book by that name before. And very recently too. It's a title I recognise too, Mr. Naruhodo. Maybe that might come up later? Oh my god, it looks chewed! What the heck happened here? The book has been badly burnt! You're right. You'll never be able to read it in this state. Especially not the latter pages. What a terrible waste! Judging from the scorched edges of the paper, I think the damage must have occurred very recently. Book. Recently damaged by a fire? Why does that seem to raise a red flag with me? Most curious. Suppose that's it. I have nothing further to add. What? You seem surprised, my learned friend. But your resistance until now has been in vain. Entertaining, yes, but futile. The spurious longer route to the accused's lodgings that you tried to establish in your summation examination, and the attempted discrediting of the witness's powers of recollection in your cross-examination. Futile? I walked right into this, didn't I?
You see? Everything we've said is true.
We.
Isn't that right, my darling?
Yes, Pat! Marry me, Pat! So, perhaps the ladies and gentlemen of the jury would like to reconsider their positions? Should the court waste any more time on this Nipponese travesty? Or is it the decision you have to make all too apparent already? You have heard all of the witnesses and seen all of the evidence. This trial has run its course. Mr. Naruhodo, I'm afraid we're in a terribly precarious position. I know, but if I fight back in the wrong way now, I could very well just make matters worse. Think, you not get think. What do you do now? We always have an objection. There must be something. I'm not done yet. No, my learned friend. It's over. That last cross-examination was your final chance to establish a credible defense, and you failed. The die has been cast. There is no more room for debate. It might be over as far as you're concerned, but I can't think of what to say! I may, Lord Von Zeeks. It seems somewhat boorish to close down the debate at this point. I don't know where we're going with this. Your insignificant little Eastern Isle must be a lawless hole indeed. For a lowly judicial assistant to have the audacity to intervene at a moment like this. I am, to my shame, still a very inexperienced lawyer. So you will have to forgive me. But I consider my assistant's advice essential and her opinions invaluable.
Mr. Naruhodo.
One of these land's great guiding principles is tolerance. So, the court will hear you, madam.
Go ahead, Mr. Sato, please.
Very well. Pray, what insight can you give us? What have we all overlooked in this matter that you see fit to pursue further? Well, the court has been presented with new evidence, but only after the last cross-examination finished. I see. And you believe that this new evidence warrants further examination, do you?
Mr. Naruhodo, what do you think?
It's just possible that this new evidence might be the decisive proof we've been waiting for. The judge is sure to ask the members of the jury to announce their leanings in a moment. Of course, he's sure to ask you to explain what the crucial piece of evidence is and why. So we must take this opportunity to examine the newly presented evidence as thoroughly as possible. Yes, I understand. Thank you, Mr. Sato. This is it. Sato-san has managed to win us one last chance here. I can't let it go to waste. The defense wishes to present evidence, my lord. Very well. The defense may present one further piece of evidence. Evidence that apparently offers a profound insight into this case and has hitherto been overlooked.
Take that!
The evidence in question is what we can see from the newly presented photographic print of the crime scene. The fourth book found in the victim's hand.
Objection!
We have already discussed the fourth book at length. Other than it being in the victim's grasp at the time of the incident, no significance has been attached to it. Pursuing the matter further would be a flagrant waste of the court's time, as you well know. Yes, I'm afraid, counsel, I must concur with the prosecution on this matter. When I afforded you this opportunity, you led the court to believe that the evidence you questioned contained a hitherto undiscovered clue. So I must insist that you elaborate, counsel. You will identify this clue at once. Do I make myself clear? Yes, my lord. It's, Mr. Naruhodo. I believe the prosecution is trying to avoid a thorough examination of the evidence. Which means you may very well be on the right track. Yes, I think you might be right. So, counsel, Precisely where is the vital clue to this case which this fourth book conceals? If you just turned it around, my guy.
Got it!
I would ask the court to observe the back of the book in question. Seriously, you could have just turned it around. What are you... Good gracious. You've come a long way from the front of the back of the back. It's been burnt to a crisp. So we have to ask ourselves, why was the victim clutching what is clearly an unreadable book? It is undeniably an extremely unnatural thing for her to have been doing. It's unnatural! What now? Unnatural, you say? And what of it, my Nipponese friend? Were I to concede to the point, if it bears no relation to the case, there is nothing to discuss. So, should you wish to assert that this fire damage is some veiled clue as to what happened that day? Pray, do enlighten us all. What truth does this charred book hide? I believe one of the jurors can enlighten you. Well, I'm not sure. A charred book? There's just one possibility here, which I can't quite bring myself to rule out. It's an outside chance, certainly, but worth a try. Alright, I'll explain my theory. Don't keep us waiting any longer then, counsel. Explain! What are you suggesting that you can ascertain from the fire damage this sorry tomb? It's... someone's favourite book. The burn on the back of this book reveals a startling truth about the book's owner. I beg your pardon?
But we already know who the book belongs to.
Do we?
The victim was gripping it in her hand as she fell to the floor afterwards. Obviously hers.
The question of how this book came to be in the victim's hand has yet to be answered. However, as to the questions of who the book really belongs to and where it originated, the defense has very credible answers. Good gracious, how can you possibly... Very well, I'll play along with this futile attempt to delay your inevitable demise. But do remember, the members of the jury may well burn you if your little gamble goes awry. Counsel, the defense's response here is very likely to influence the final outcome of this trial. So tell the court, who do you claim is the owner of this burnt book? Wasn't it your favourite book, Mr. Garadeb?
Take that!
The answer is that the book belongs to the couple who own the house where the defendant has his lodgings. A certain Mr. and Mrs. Garadeb. The landlords. And whether this crime is some extraordinary coincidence or some kind of fate at work, I don't know. But of all the people in London, one of the 6 chosen for the jury in this courtroom today is none other than Mrs. Garadeb herself for some reason. Oh my goodness, me! I think you must be mistaken, sir. I'm not Mrs. Garadeb's wife. I'm his maid. Things would be so much easier if you would just drop the pretense. Alright then, how about a simple question for you then? Have you ever seen this book in Mr. Garadeb's house? I would never presume to know all of the books he keeps, sir.
Objection!
This is outlandish behavior! This woman is the accused landlady, you say? You implicate this hard-working member of the public. You besmirch her without a shred of evidence. You had a whole dance of deduction. Your actions are unforgivable. This is not mere conjecture. The defense happens to know that on the day in question, at almost exactly the same time as the victim was stabbed on the pavement below, another incident was taking place in the room on the top floor of Mr. and Mrs. Garadeb's house. Good Lord! What sort of incident, counsel? Happens to know. A fire, my lord. Afraid to say it was. It happened in a blink of an eye, you know. The whole place filled with smoke. Couldn't see a bally thing. Didn't take long for the fire to spread, of course. The bally furniture started going up as well. Worst of it is, I lost my favourite book called The Lion's Pride. Oh! The Lion's Pride. By Jove, the very same title that's the subject of this debate. Oh dear me!
Objection!
This is advisable. All you've told the court is that a book by the same name was involved in a fire. In which case, it would be reasonable to assume that it was burnt to ashes. And entirely unreasonable to infer that it magically removed itself to the scene of the crime. Perhaps it would make more sense if I told you that the cause of the fire was marital discord. Would that make more sense? What difference does that make? Without going into details, it appears that Mrs. Garadeb was considerably enraged. Apparently this is not looking good for us, but okay, we need to progress. Apparently, she continued to attack Mr. Garadeb even amid the flames. I really shouldn't be laughing.
Oh, how awful! I can't imagine being in such a horrid...
Can you, Rolly?
Totally! I'm not dragging you to death.
Without scarf? Absolutely not, sir. My Patricia would never raise a finger against me, sir. Maybe not so much that, but had all my favourite novels in that case. And as soon as the fire got hold of them, that was it. Whoosh! Up in smoke! And the wife started hurling things at me. There was I back up against the window under heavy enemy fire. Incendiary books coming 10 to the dozen. The man had his back up against the window and he had burning books thrown at him. Goodness gracious, are you suggesting that the book was thrown through a window and landed coincidentally at the scene of the crime?
Objection!
No, a thorough investigation of the surrounding area was conducted the very evening of the incident. And there was no report of the Garadeb's window pane being broken. We never said anything about a broken window. It's quite true. We also saw no sign of broken glass when we visited the Garadeb household. But it is not conceivable that the window was open at the time and... Not even remotely! Oh, let us not forget the season and the chilling weather that accompanies it. Bro, there was a fire. Why would you... You think you're so clever? No London would ever leave a window open in the middle of winter. Hold on, there's a reason for that. Does the defense postulate this scenario in all seriousness, counsel? Yes! Do you earnestly claim that the book found at the scene was a flaming projectile thrown by Mr. Garrodep's wife? Yes! Ow. Possibly. Yes, we believe it's a possibility, my lord. That's quite enough. I don't remember who said this. Oh! Well, I hope that everyone can see you for what you are now, you little foreign trickster! Call yourself a lawyer, but you're just a coward! A mean coward! A coward? What for? Really? Claiming that our little tiff sent the whole neighborhood alight. Honestly, that's not quite what we said, ma'am. Implying that I'm merely posing as a maid for appearances. How could you? Ma'am? There's nothing to do with this beastly case. Not any of it. All you've done is sully our family's name. I assure you that was never my intention. Dragging an upstanding citizen's name through the mud simply to divert attention from your failing defense. I should box your ears, that's what I should do! It's utterly unforgivable! Too right! Here we go. How long have we sat here now listening to this Nipponese spouting out his fancy foreign theories? But think about it! At the end of the day, the only person who could have possibly stabbed the victim is that little hunchback with a mustache, and he ran away from the scene too! Again, if he didn't, what difference would that make?
I do declare you're right. It's true.
Yes! What did I tell you? Makes sense to me. Sorry. What's that? He's just vibing. Well, it would appear that the ladies and gentlemen of the jury are once again in full agreement. What is your position, Lord von Zeeks? In truth, my lord, I feel these have been unnecessarily protracted proceedings. But then one must always exercise patience in order to savor the best vintage. No, wait! The mystery of the fourth book still hasn't been... If your books are your predilection, my learned friend, study them on your own time. What? No, forgive the discourtesy this time? You've seen it once, you've seen it all, I guess. In that case, ladies and gentlemen of the jury, you will now state your individual decisions regarding the defendant's culpability for the court to hear.
Guilty!
Guilty.
Guilty. Guilty. Guilty.
Guilty!
Thank you for that unambiguous response. That's twice now. It's over. Mr. Nuttlehoddle, don't give up. Mrs. Otto, have you forgotten? The battle isn't over yet. You're not suggesting. Of course, the defense has the right to another summation examination at this point. You could still convince the jurors to change their minds. You have one more chance. My lord! The defense asked to exercise its right to a summation examination. You believe you still have tricks up your sleeve? I don't intend to trick anybody. I intend to uncover the truth. It's no time to be downcast. As long as there's a chance, I have to stay strong and determined. That's right.